Hello everyone, this is another tutorial for beginners on Battlefield 2, and today I will show you how to change the AI difficulty of bots. So go to your Battlefield 2 uh, game folder, go to, in this case I'm gonna mod Battlefield 2 itself. There are two main things that we can change and that will affect the game the most. One of them is the AI default file. This is the most important change you will make to change the difficulty of bots. So there are a few things we can change in here. One of them would be the number of bots. In this case is 64, so it will be 32 for each team. You can change these, for example, if you want the normal. By default you have 8 bots on each team, so here it will be 16. If you want 12 bots on each team, for example, you have to put 24. Okay, and this is the bot skill. 0.4 is too easy. Anything about 0.5 and it's like you are John Cena because no one can see you. So I would advise you to choose, if you want them to be kind of easy but not too easy, 0.7. If you want them to be medium challenge, I would put 0.8. If you want them to be challenging, I would put 0.9. The maximum is 1, but if you put 1 it will be too hard. They will be like cheating all the time because they can spot you instantly and they just have no deviation on their weapons. So for these changes to work, if it's the first time that you are changing this document, copy this part without the RAM, okay, and place it here. So AI settings, override menu settings, okay. So this is important for these changes to take place. After this, anytime you want to change the number of bots or the difficulty, you just come to this file and change these lines, okay, and ignore the rest. So save it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the next big thing that you can change, which is the weapons AI. So in normal BF2 they are in the object server. You come to weapons, handheld, and for example let's look at the knife. Okay, so just copy this somewhere, the knife.tweak. Okay, um, usually this is read only. Change that and open the file. Okay, and now you can look for AI and you will find in here object template, AI template, knife. Okay, so the AI used by this weapon is called knife. In fact, it's inside the weapons folder. In this case, you come here, see weapons AI, and here it is, knife. So this is what matters to create an AI. Okay, this is the name of the AI. And then there are a few things you can change here. For example, minimum range is the distance in meters at which the bot will stop using this weapon. Okay, in this case there is no minimum because it's the knife, so in fact he will try to use it when it's close to you. The max range is the distance in meters, the further distance at which it will try to use the knife. So in this case the bots will never use the knives when they are more than 2.5 meters away from you. And the optimal range, it's in percentage. So he can use the knife when he's 2.5 meters away from you, but he will prefer to use it at 25% of this distance. If you change this for 100 meters, for example, bots will attack with knives from 100 meters, but they will prefer to use them when they are at 25 meters. Of course, for knives this is a stupid number. You don't want bots running towards you with a knife from so far. So I will just keep the value that it was. Okay, 2.5. set firing pose. Okay, this is how bots will use the knife. They can use the knife while standing. You can also use crouching, and in this case they will crouch before to use the knife, or you can use lying, and in this case they will lie down to use the knife. Okay, so these are the three standard positions that you can choose from: standing, crouching, or lying. And then we have this part. This is the next important part that you can change, and this is like a valuation system. So if in all of your AI weapons the biggest number is a 20, then the game will use a scale from 0 to 20. If in all of your weapons the biggest number is a 100, the game will use a 0 to 100 scale to compare them. So for example, if the knife, if you set it 100 here in the infantry at this distance, and let's say the bots are also using, so they have a knife and they also have M4, for example. Let's check the AI used by the M4. So the M4 is using the US rifle M4 AI, which is here, I guess. Yes, it's here. And it's 5 points against infantry. Well, if you put 100 for the knife and the bot as both, well, 100 is 20 times 5, okay, which was the number used in this one. So the bots are 20 times more likely to use a knife than the M4 when they can. In this case, they can only use the knife when they are at less than 2.5 meters. So when they are at less than 2.5 meters, they are 20 times more likely to use the knife against infantry than they would use the M4. Okay. And so this is against infantry, but you can also, if you want bots to look like they are totally nuts, you can put 0 on the knife against infantry, and you can, for example, put it 100 against heavy armor. And now what will happen is that bots will use the knife to attack tanks. So they will, if they are at less than 2.5 meters from a tank, they will start attacking the tank with a knife. Okay, so you can do some changes in here and configure the AI as you want to. You can also easily create a new AI. You just copy this, give it the name that you want. For example, you want to create an AI for all the snipers. So we can call it Sniper AI. Okay, copy. Okay, Sniper AI. So for snipers, maybe you want them to start shooting from 300 meters. Okay, but you don't want them to shoot less than 10 meters or 20 meters. And the optimal range, you want to say like maybe 80%. At 80% of 300 meters, it's their preferred position to shoot at you. And when they are using a sniper, you want them to lie down in order to shoot. Okay. And snipers, you want them to be very good against infantry. So Battlefield 2 uses, I think, 0 to 10 or 0 to 12. So if you put a 10, it's already a high number. So I'm gonna put 10. Okay. And they will just use snipers against infantry. They will not use snipers against anything else. I created this AI here, but this is not the best place to create this AI, so I'm just gonna cut these. Best way is to create a new weapons AI, copy one from somewhere. You take the read only, delete what's here, and now I place this here. I save it, and for example, so I can come here and in the weapons folder, so look here, object server, weapons, I can create a folder for the AI. So I call it AI, and I can place it here. Okay, and now every time I want to add a new AI made by myself, I can place it here. So I have sniper AI, I can create rifles AI. Okay, and what's etc, etc, etc. And now to use this AI that I just created, I go to one of the weapons I want to, for example the US rifle M4. So I copy this here. Let's make a backup. And now in the AI template, instead of using the US rifle M2 for AI, I'm gonna use the AI that I created for rifles AI, and paste it here. Okay, and now this weapon will use the new AI that we just created. So let's go there again, handheld US rifle M24, and let's drag it here. Okay, so now when you play the game, the bots will shoot from a distance of 200 meters if they are using the M24. In the vanilla game, they would only start shooting at 125 meters. So these are the two biggest changes that you will. So with these two changes, it will make the biggest difference in terms of AI in the game. If you want, you can download the files that I put on the links below and just practice by and try changing the numbers by yourself until they fit your liking. Goodbye everyone, and have a nice weekend.